Welcome to the Ben Don't Break podcast. We are powered by The Source, Ben's locally owned media company and weekly newspaper. This podcast is our eddy in the rushing waters of local journalism. We are glad that you're taking some of your time to listen to us chat with the people who shape our local community. Support us through our member program at bensource.com.
Thank you to our presenting sponsor, RE/MAX Key Properties, a family-owned full-service real estate brokerage specializing in residential, luxury, commercial, new construction, and ranch and land properties. Their new state-of-the-art facility at 42 Greenwood Avenue is a modern, collaborative space and the new home of the Ben Don't Break podcast recording studio.
I'm Aaron Switzer, publisher of The Source and co-producer of this podcast with Megan Burton, who is off screen and sometimes off mic, hopefully on mic if we can. Shannon will have to pull her in.
Yeah.
That's always my goal.
That's a great idea.
Shanan Kelley is with us today. Very excited. I can say Megan and I are both excited about coming in here today. She's a professional writer, Emcee, auctioneer, and comedian. She is the creator of the Nightlight Show with Shanan Kelley and the director of development for the Casey Anseth Legacy Foundation, which distributes artist grants to creators in Central Oregon. Shanan is known for her heart-centered and humorous approach to her work and life. She lives in Bend with her two long-eared, short-legged dogs, who I understand got groomed today.
They got groomed today.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
they're
big
so
day.
it's a big day for us. Yeah, they're fresh. They're extra sassy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They feel it. Can you
They
tell
do.
the dog feels it?
Oh yeah. They're
Your
like
dogs
they've
like to
got
be
the
groomed?
zoomies. You know, I don't know if they like to be groomed, but they tolerate it and they like their groomer, and I think that helps.
And then after they like it.
And then after, everyone's
Yeah.
so fresh.
If
Yeah.
my dog gets groomed, he just goes, he doesn't like the whole process.
Yeah.
But when he's done, he loves the fact that you spent that kind of time with him.
Yeah.
And then he just gets the zoomies and goes nuts.
They get
and
the zoomies.
rubs on his back.
Isn't that so funny? Because I have never like taken a shower and washed my hair and like gotten the zoomies. I'm like, it's bedtime. Let's de-zoom.
Well, you're a
Yeah.
night shower person, you know?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
might have to be a morning shower
I guess if you
person.
only take a shower once every 4 weeks, you might get the zoomies after.
That's
That actually makes more sense if
Yeah.
you think about it that way. Yeah.
I wouldn't try that.
No, I don't. I would recommend it. They're a big part of my life though. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really nice when they're fresh and clean. Like I don't want to be like, oh, I love my dogs more when they smell better, but like
You do.
you love your dogs a little more when
Kinda
they smell
do.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. The nuzzle's different.
The nuzzle, it is. It is. And like I have my one dog, she gets all kind of stuff going on with her fur and her face. She just gets these like really prominent eyebrows. She
Mhm.
looks like kind of angry
Yeah.
right before grooming. And now she looks happy again. So I'm like, okay, I'm not getting the side eye anymore. We're back to,
We're friends.
yeah, she's like, she approves of me again.
Well, I thought, I wanted to have you on because I was going to a couple fundraisers and you were doing every fundraiser I was going to, and I was like, this is awesome.
Oh, I
It's
love
not
it.
going to be a boring night tonight. So, and Megan and I were at the COCC Meal of the Year,
Yeah.
and great show. You just
Yeah,
did such a good
thanks.
job.
It's an amazing event. I've done that one for a long time, kind of off and on. And I love working with Molly May. She's
Yeah.
incredible. And obviously the team at COCC is just
that
like
your
bar
auctioneer,
none.
Molly?
Yeah.
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 It's a good combo.
It's a
They
good
really-
combo. Yeah, thank you. I mean, we really truly enjoy each other, and we love working together. And any chance I get to work with her, I'm like really happy about. I think we just love to support each other, and it really
Yeah.
works well. But it's always funny because with COCC, they're like, okay, we want you to like really be funny this year, and I'm like, okay, great. Like
Not like last
Yeah,
year.
totally. They're like, you were the funniest this year, but I'm like, yes, I'm totally into it. And like, what do you think about this? And what do you think about this? And but it's also like I'm walking a fine line because it is still a fundraiser. It's not a
Right.
comedy show.
Yeah.
It is a very specific audience. It is a really traditional event. It's been going for 47 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that they want to push and expand and evolve, and then there's also a lot to maintain.
Yeah.
And so it's actually like one of the more challenging gigs in that sense, because I'm like, I know, I mean, even just the expectation I have for myself at
Yeah.
that event is really high because I also really believe in the work. And I think everyone in Central Oregon or wherever wants to go to CSDC should absolutely have that opportunity.
Yeah.
So like the stakes are high, but yeah, I was really happy because I know, in the live auction lineup, there was an item where, let me see if I can get this right. So it was like an amphitheater. You could take 14
Yeah.
friends to a concert, and the
Yeah.
concert list was like, Brandy Carlisle and like the whole
Yeah.
list of
John
people. And then
Ken's on
Toto was one of the choices.
there. Right.
And then the
Right.
next live auction item was a trip to Africa. And I was like, this is a gift from my guides. Like, this is an opportunity
Right.
for me to go a place that I've never gone before. And
Yeah.
it was really fun.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
is funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I might
I-
have startled some people with
I-
my loud singing.
No, you did. I was startled.
Yeah.
but it was also probably the funniest part of the night.
Oh,
So yeah, it was great.
cool.
I'm always surprised, like when I see you up there, and or that is a big stage actually,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's in the round,
Yeah.
and not an easy gig,
Yeah. It's a little bit chaotic. And also, like, it's in a gymnasium.
right?
So everything is brought to life. I mean, Courtney from Flip Flop Sounds, and then Mint Events carried. I mean, they do an amazing job. And I think this year was, we say it every year, but this year it was the most beautiful. It was very elegant. And it's so funny because you're looking around this beautiful room, and there's the beer garden and the pipe and
Yeah.
drape and the amazing stage in the center. And then you'll look up and there's like a basketball hoop.
Right.
And you look down and there's like
Right.
blinds on the floor. You're like,
Right.
oh, it's so,
Yeah.
we're in a gym,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's a big transformation.
When you I mean, you're naturally funny. I mean, you just are. I mean, I'm
Thanks.
sure that is a.
Thanks.
I'm sure people say that all the time.
I've heard that once
We're
or
not
twice.
breaking ground here.
Yeah, this is
Right.
something I am aware of.
So then don't
Yeah.
break podcast.
I like,
We tell it like
yeah.
it is.
I'm like,
She's funny, right? But like when you were little, were you the classic class clown in your school, or was this a later thing where you just got smarter and smarter? And
I think it's kind of both. My family's really funny.
Yeah.
Like, my dad's really funny. Like, he taught us exposed us to all the comedians and
Yeah.
all the funny movies and all the things that are like not funny anymore, but like were funny back then. And so, yes, I was also quite shy when I was young. Like, I
Okay.
couldn't like go to
Yeah.
dance classes without my mom. I couldn't like
Yeah.
do anything without my mom nearby. And then as I got older, I I did kind of start to come out of my shell a little bit. And I will also say I remember, like, I think I didn't quite know how to harness it in
Yeah.
the right way. And so
Yeah.
I can remember, like, friends being like, "Oh, you're like, that was kind of a little too much," like, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And so over the years, yes, I have learned how to. I mean, obviously, it's like my most marketable skill set now, right?
Yeah.
And so that's a really interesting thing because it was like a coping skill growing up, and now it's what I do for a living in every context that I because I do a lot of different things. I use it in every way. So
Yeah.
it's pretty interesting to reflect on that journey and how it has evolved.
Yeah.
Because it is it's such a powerful tool.
Yeah.
It's such a powerful tool. And like with that comes like a great responsibility, I think. And so I try to really
I'm always
use it wisely.
surprised. I'm always surprised when I do talk to people or comedians or people where it comes natural. And I mean, I was always class clown, so being in front of the whole class, even though it made me uncomfortable, I was also uncomfortable not being in front of the whole class. So
Yeah.
getting into trouble and all that. And I always think that is the path of a comedian. And then I've met so many people who's like, no, you were just kind of a bad kid.
You were just in the back of the bus.
But a lot of it goes back to family, like how much your parents invite that kind of chaos that
Yes.
comes with like cracking jokes, and how much your parents and family are open to being self-critical.
Yeah,
Because if you
definitely.
don't have that, then people are just like, oh, stop making fun of me.
Definitely. And I think it's so interesting because there's a lot that goes into it that people don't really recognize. Like, for me, so much of it is being able to hear. So I can hear when I had this really interesting experience I teach yoga at Groove Yoga, and I have been teaching there for almost 15 years. And the thing with Groove is that we play music, and the music's like, I wouldn't say it's like loud, but it's definitely like a part of the experience. And a couple months ago, our Wi-Fi went out, and I had to do the class without music. And I was like, oh my God, it was so much easier to land punchlines because I could hear the moment to drop it in. And it was just such an interesting reminder of like, that's something I really rely on
Yeah.
in how I use humor. It's really so much like we're in a it requires other people. I mean, sure, I'm at home like laughing with my dogs a lot, but like when I'm on stage, it is so
Right.
I love to be on stage with other people. I love
Yeah.
to, get to know like who's this audience, what are they doing, what are they up for,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And even when it's not humorous, I think like a good public speaker is someone who's a really good listener,
Yeah.
So yeah.
How do you so when did you start like putting yourself out there? I mean, what is it? Do you remember the moment you kind of transitioned from being kind of like a family
Yeah.
cut up to
Yeah, I mean, I remember in 6th grade, I played Hera in the school play.
yeah.
It was like a mythology thing, and I was just having a memory about this because I remember, like, the costumes were so funny, and we're little kids. So that's, like, a moment, and I did cheer in high school, and
Okay.
so I can think, like,
That's
that's, like,
hilarious in and of
hilarious. Yeah,
itself, right?
lots of comedy there, but from a performance
Yeah.
standpoint, and so, then when I got to college, it started to come out in a more, like, performing on stage way, and I fell into, like, it was, like, Drama 101 at
Yeah.
my school, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is a thing," and then I started like, you have to audition for the upper level classes, and you start getting into acting classes and stuff, and that's when it really, like, started to take shape for me. Like, I always make a joke that I was going into college thinking I wanted to be an attorney, and then I got there and I discovered I just wanted to play one on TV, and that's not entirely true. Like, I don't think that that life is for me, but that is, like, those are 2 very different
Yeah.
ways to be an attorney,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I play a doctor all the time, just
Yeah.
not my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, why not,
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm. So but in since then, I mean, you've taken it from being just like having a good time up on stage to, you're actually
Yeah.
compensated for it. I mean, that's a big
Yeah.
step to get people to go, not only do I think I'm funny, other people are
Yeah.
willing
Yeah, and
to
I am
pay me.
using it in, like, my marketing tools where I'm, like,
Yeah.
I'm known for using this heart-centered
Yeah.
humor, as I refer to it, and that is, like, the thing that I think really sets me apart,
Yeah.
like, there's other auctioneers who can offer A, B, and C, and I'm like, "I may not be doing that, but I have this other thing, and if
Yeah.
that's what you want, then we're in business," you
Yeah.
know? Um Yeah, and that's been a long multi-year journey, because my crew and I started the Nightlight Show in 2013, and I pretty quickly got asked to do a fundraiser as an MC, and I think I got paid like $500, and I was kind of like, "Oh, this is interesting. Let's just see what this is like." And then I just learned by doing, and that was 13 years ago.
Yeah.
So it has certainly evolved, and in some ways it has felt very like achingly slow. But I've learned so much, and now it
Yeah.
is like definitely I think there's so much to be said for like never giving up on something because I have this like awesome setup that
Yeah.
works for me, and I feel it's like kind of a made up career.
Yeah.
But the nonprofit piece is really cool because I do have a background in that, and I have a lot of connections in the community with
Yeah.
nonprofit, and I genuinely care about the work that these
Right.
organizations are doing. And then I can help them and like slip in and be like a part of their team at a time when they need me the most. And so that's, I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, those fundraisers can be painfully
Oh,
dull,
yeah.
and
And people get very uncomfortable with the fundraising part.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, without somebody who does a good job of keeping it light. I mean, when I try to get my younger employees to come, they are like, "You gotta be kidding." Like,
Yeah.
"We're not sitting there."
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
know.
"No, it's fun.
I know. I know. Well,
We'll have
yeah,
a good
yeah.
time."
I
And
know.
then thankfully, when I dragged them to
Yeah, you just had to find
the
out who the
year, they
MC
were
is
like,
and
"Oh,
you're
this
like, "Yeah,
was
this
kind of
was fun."
fun."
Yeah, I mean, I said it in a meeting last night, like, no one has ever given the feedback that they wish the event was 20 minutes longer. You never have I ever
Right.
experienced
Please
that.
hold
Basically,
dessert just a little
"Please,
bit
can we
longer
keep
and ask
going?"
us
Yeah.
again.
Can we just keep doing this part of it? So I think, again, to your point, like the humor is really helpful. Also,
Yeah.
someone who can like keep us on track and on time and can really drive it forward because
Yeah.
there's no need to stretch it out. Like get in there, get the job
Right.
done, and then let's
Yeah.
celebrate our win and move on. And I think, fundraising events in particular are evolving quite a bit. I mean, some of them are not. But a lot of them are, and a lot of people
It's a
want to be
mixed
organized.
bag.
It's a
Yeah.
mixed bag, but
Right.
that format isn't the best format for every type of organization.
Oh,
We have
that's for sure.
24,000 nonprofits in Oregon State.
Yeah.
And the gala format's not gonna work for a large number of them.
Right.
So then there's all these other things we can do, and you're seeing it with, the crew that's doing the bingo.
Mhm.
Those are amazing, and I
Yeah.
love those,
Yeah.
or like brunches or happy hours. We did a variety show for Scale House a couple in April. It was very successful. And
Right.
what was amazing about it was like everyone was having fun, and
Yeah.
it was like just for having fun. And we were looking around the room, and I'm like, that was our main goal, and we fully accomplished it. And
Yeah.
it was really neat to just see everybody being creative, and everyone was participating. It was awesome.
You're pretty, I mean, I know you as a MC for these functions, but mostly known for the nightlight.
Yeah.
And to talk a little bit about how, because I can remember back in the day
Yeah.
when, uh, you were getting that off the ground, and it was
Yeah.
just such a local, I mean, it was podcast before podcast was
Totally.
cool, you know?
Yeah, totally. In fact, I've often wondered, like, would it translate to a podcast? I think it could.
It
Yeah,
mostly would have gone to, like, a Tonight Show is where.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, over the years, people are like, if money wasn't an option or like wasn't a consideration, like, what would you do? And I'm always like, the Nightlight Show. Like,
Right,
it's
yeah.
the most fun, and it's also like planning my wedding every time. It's a lot of work, and capitalism is a thing. I don't know if you guys know about this. It's a real thing.
It's
So
brutal.
yeah, it's brutal.
It's
It really
brutal.
takes the joy out of things. It will steal your dreams from you. But yeah, I think the moment that we started, there wasn't a lot going on, and we were still
No.
very
Yeah.
recessed at that point, and but I will say in Tin Pan Alley there was like some action going on there. We had
Yeah.
Lone Pine Coffee, had Tin Pan Theater, had upstairs Mandala Yoga and TBD Ad Agency
Yeah.
and Poet House. So there was a lot of creativity happening
Mhm.
there, a lot of creative activity. And we did some really fun things. Like we did the first show, and then the next one we decided to do two because we were doing it at Tin Pan Theater. It was very small.
Yeah.
So we did two shows, and we did a middle party. So it was a party in the middle of the two shows. It was an after party for the first show and a pre-party for the second show, which we thought was so silly. And also for the first show, we were offering childcare at Lone Pine next door. So the kids would like go next door and like have like cookies and milk and do coloring pages while the parents came
Oh,
to the
I didn't
show.
know
Like there
that,
were
yeah.
things like that that
Yeah.
I think were really just like hit
Yeah.
something really special. And then also we were just doing it for fun. Like we didn't have an agenda other than this is community based and we want to
Yeah.
uplift community voices and we want to talk about people that are doing cool things. So it was nonprofit, but
Yeah.
it was community leaders and artists and comedians and whatever. It was a
Yeah.
real mix. And the only regret I have is that I wasn't better at like cataloging every show that we did. Cause I mean, I'd had like 6 coffee books with photos and stories and
Right.
the sheer
Right.
number of stories that we
Yeah.
told during that time. It's just really so special.
I think that you hit on something that I remember from those, like, 2010, 2013 times is, Bend was so small, and
Mhm.
I feel like, there was this sense back then when you would do something like the Nightlight Show, and I was trying to do stuff at Central Oregon
Yeah.
Daily, and those were early, like, pre-podcast things, and, but you knew for sure it was not going anywhere. It was
Yeah,
so
right.
small, and you just had no aspiration for it other than what was happening in the you're very in the moment
There in the
and
moment,
trying to
yeah.
and you were meeting people and doing cool stuff, and, I remember going to several of those shows, and it was just fun, but it was fun because you were in this what you knew was a very small group
Yeah.
of creatives at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're speaking to is, like, it's a different time to be
Yeah.
visible in the world,
Yeah.
and because you're always being recorded.
Yeah.
I mean, even I'll go to spend some time with my niece and my family, and my mom's, like, videoing everything, and I'm like, "Please stop videoing," It's like people are just capturing everything and sharing everything all the time
Yes,
so much, and it wasn't like that
yeah.
then, and so it is a different mindset to be in. There's more I feel like there is more freedom, there's more you're not
Right.
you don't
Can't
have to
go
be so
back.
vigilant,
Yeah, you
right?
can't
Yeah.
go back to the Nightlight Show and pull up, all the video
Yeah.
and
Well,
all that
because we were
stuff.
ripping off music, Aaron, so we couldn't post any of that stuff.
Right, right.
I mean, there's some good where I'm like, "Oh, but you
Yeah,
can't show that one,"
right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
But it did feel just like you were doing it for yourself,
Yeah,
like you were
and we
doing it.
really were.
Yeah.
I mean, but, like, one thing that's been interesting for me to learn as a professional, as a business person trying to, like, thrive,
We're back to
we're back to
capitalism.
capitalism, and all roads lead back to capitalism, it turns out, but,
Right.
a comedian will write a
Mm.
show and perform that same show for years,
Yeah.
and I was writing a show and performing it for 100 people, and then rewriting another show and performing it for
Right.
100 people, I mean,
Right.
over and I was like, "I think I maybe need to start repurposing some of this content. This is
Yeah.
insane." And I actually have gone back and tried to grab some things and turn them into essays or, vice versa. And so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
been pretty neat. But I'm like, you got to get a little more mileage out of this content, girl. You're working way too hard.
Right, but that's the time,
I know it
and I don't
is.
think and it is, no one's recording it, no one was broadcasting it. You
Right.
knew that the people who were gonna know about that evening's
Yeah.
Nightlight Show were in the room.
That's right. And
You
actually
know?
we did a couple times we did experiment with like some live streaming and like the tools were
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
You had to have a special cord and a special thing, and you had to jiggle the
Yeah.
handle, and you had to wiggle shake the rattles, and do a special dance,
Yeah.
and it still didn't work,
Right,
So
right.
that was is pre-Zoom. I
Yeah.
mean, and also with like comedy. And here's another thing that's really interesting: to produce a show for the screen is very different than to produce a show for a live
Oh,
audience.
yeah.
Those are not the same. Even if it's stand-up comedy, you still don't design it in the same way. And so, like trying to get something that's happening live in the moment to translate to a Zoom screen is just
Yeah.
doesn't. It
No.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Like when we'll do like the lip sync battles and people are recording, I'm like, please don't. It's so cringy. Please don't. It's not it doesn't, it's not the
It's
feel
not
you're
gonna
having in person. No one's having that on the other side of your
That's
phone
right,
screen.
that's
Yeah.
right.
So,
No, I found that the same. It was the same, a very similar thing when this podcast originated on Zoom during the
right.
pandemic, and I struggled with it. It
Yeah.
was great to relate, and those were the times and things, but boy, I got off that as soon as I could. I was like, this
Yeah.
is a very weird format, and it doesn't translate to
No, it doesn't.
two screens across from each other looking straight
Yeah,
at the
and you're
person.
trying to interact and how do you yeah,
Yeah.
we did, because I did a couple fundraisers during that time, and there was one in particular as a client down in the Bay Area, and it's a school, and they're amazing, and
Mm.
their, acronym is PBS, and so they did, like, a PBS telethon was the
Oh,
theme,
okay.
and they pre-produced a ton of content. They had Beaker in the science lab, and the
Oh,
head of school was
yeah.
Mr. Rogers, and they had Kermit on the playground, and it was gorgeous. It was absolutely amazing. And then I was like the MC and the auctioneer and like moving everything forward and
Yeah.
doing the stuff live in real time. And like it's so hard because the delays on the feedback and to see when
Oh, yeah.
judges are coming and it's really
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But I will say like that was one example where I think it worked better than others, but because they had pre-produced so much of the material, it
Yeah.
was like really impressive.
You recently this was another reason that I poked Megan about getting you on. I saw your poster
Yeah.
for the show at the Tower with
Yeah.
Chelsea,
Mhm.
and I didn't know the other comedian.
Helen, yeah.
But, I came back to the source and I was like, Chelsea is gonna be on stage
Yeah.
again here in town, and of course, they didn't remember
Oh,
Chelsea,
yeah.
and,
I
the
mean,
time moves by so quick, but how cool was that?
oh, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was I mean, gosh. I mean, Chelsea's, like, forever my favorite comedy partner, and, we've been it's the whole thing came about in such an interesting way. I know Helen Keeney's mother-in-law, and
Okay.
so Helen has been doing stand-up for, like, 35 years, and she had, recently decided to kinda go back into it full time, and so we're kinda getting something going, and Chelsea and I on the side have been working on this writing project together for several months, and I was like, "What do you think? Would you come out?" And she was like, "Oh, sure. Yeah, sure. Okay, I'll do it." And she's like, "But I know you have to talk to the tower." And I was like, "I already talked to him. We're good. Book your ticket." And, it was just such a very special, just for us as friends to be
Yeah.
able to do that together,
Yeah.
and then also she was just in all her glory. I mean, she's absolutely magnificent, like, the photos
Yeah.
and Matt Hand from Hand in Hand Productions produced the sets, and so, like, her set is it just is glorious. I mean, the Tower is forever my favorite venue. It's so beautiful. Everything
Yeah.
looks so good. The team is so amazing, like and then for the crowd too, it was, like, such an elevated experience of comedy. And in fact, a lot of the feedback that we received where people were like, "I just felt like it was at, like, a really strong community event. I didn't have
Yeah.
to go to a bar, and I didn't have to be out late, and I didn't have to"
Yeah.
it was very easy and very comfortable and all these like, my mom came, and she loved it. Yeah, it was really amazing. And then the day, I guess 2 days after the show, Chelsea hung around for a couple days and we had just a day together where we got to like tootle around and we like went to Cafe de Shoes and we went to Bonta and then we went to the library and then we went to the we got the cappuccino. I mean, it was just like
Yeah,
absolutely
that's
glorious
great.
and yeah, it was so special.
Yeah.
It was
She
so
she was
good.
she was such a motivating force
Hmm.
when she was here, and she was so darn funny, and
So darn funny.
yeah,
I know. And she still is. I
yeah.
mean, funnier than ever. She was just, yeah, it was funny because I was watching from the wings so I can also see her clock. And I'm like, we need 10 more minutes. Like, we need more
Yeah.
time with Chelsea,
Right.
and it just goes so fast.
It was one of
Yeah.
the very early events that we did as a company was that we did Last Comic Standing
Oh, yeah.
and did it in the Old Stone
Uh
Church, and
huh.
man, that was such a bad combo because you bring comedians into an old church, and it's just like you are gonna get the worst kind of
Oh,
humor,
yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
she killed, and her brother was on the scene, was so much
Yeah.
more prominent on the
Yeah.
scene, and then she kinda stepped out, I thought, during that period, and,
Yeah.
um, just was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, I wish I could remember exactly the venue, but I saw her perform one time, and this must have been in like 2010.
Mhm.
And I just was like, "That person is so good." Like, I love her. I love
Yeah.
watching her. She's an amazing storyteller. She's so funny. And so, like, we have this funny story forever that when it was time to start the Nightlight Show, I was like, "I'm gonna reach out and ask her." And so I emailed her and I didn't hear back right away. And so then I emailed her work email and then I emailed her boss because I knew her boss and I emailed her brother, I think, and then I sent a Facebook message to someone else. And it turns out she was like out of town caring for her father who was ill at the time. And she comes back to like 6 messages from a stalker, and I was like, "Will you do my show?" And then she's like, "Yeah, I'll do that." And I was like, "Ah." And I just felt like if she says yes, this is gonna be successful, and
Yeah,
it was
right.
really true,
Yeah,
and we just our chemistry together and, of course, Jesse and the Casey's and Mike and
yeah,
Edmund, it was just like a really, really magnetic, environment to be creative
yeah.
in, yeah.
Well, I know so that show's in your past.
I mean, is
What
it?
Well,
Yeah,
you care I'm sure you're
I
carrying it
know.
with you in some
Yeah.
way, but what's on the horizon for Shanan Kelley?
Gosh, that's such a good question. It's
Mm.
been a really interesting couple of years because, events really went through a weird
Yeah.
phase there for a couple of years. And so during that time, paid writing, client writing was like my main gig.
Mhm.
And then AI came on the scene and shifted that dramatically very quickly in a way that I don't even think we really realized was going to happen. And that's a bummer. And at the same time, the
Yeah.
silver lining is that now I have to focus on my own personal writing projects, which
Yeah.
is something that it's so easy to put to the bottom of the list. So I would say that is like definitely something that I'm trying to put a lot more energy towards. And, like I said, I have something I'm working on with Chelsea and we have high hopes for it, even just
Yeah.
from a sense of like, we know only good will come of it. And we know that like completing this project together will feel
Yeah.
really good. And then I think like I'm also really trying to determine like what's the right place for me to be doing comedy because I don't, um, I mean, I'm not a young chicken anymore, So like driving 200 miles to do a mic for $50 feels out of reach.
Yeah.
I the 2 dogs
Are we
couldn't
talking
handle
about
that.
capitalism
Yeah, we're talking
again?
about capitalism. And yeah, the stakes are a little higher now.
Yeah.
It only gets more expensive to stay alive, as it turns out. But so I want to be really like potent in my efforts.
Yeah.
I think that the auctioneering is also something I'm like very interested in because I do think I bring something unique to it and something
Yeah,
fresh.
for sure.
Um, I actually just got hired for a gig in Wenatchee, and this is so funny because I'm like, I am way too excited about a work trip to Wenatchee right now. Like, I need a vacation, I
Yeah,
think. But
right.
we're gonna do it's the Wenatchee Valley Cultural Center and Museum and Cultural Center, and we're gonna do a variety show fundraiser for them. And
Wow.
I'm like so excited to get to know this
Yeah.
community. And
Are
I
you
will
bringing
say
somebody else with you?
I don't have plans to at this
Okay.
time. We'll work primarily
Yeah.
with their people, but even like the event, I have events in Eugene and I have events in Washington and some California and Southern
I
Oregon
didn't
and
know you
kind of all
travel. I
over.
didn't know you
Yeah.
travel
Well,
around.
what's
Yeah.
really beautiful about it is because I, obviously love this community very much. And
Yeah.
we have something very, very special that we've worked really hard for. And that is not something you can just get.
Right.
So we
Right.
have that and we've taken care of that. But then I go into other communities and I get to plug into what they have there. And
Yeah.
it's like really, it gives me a lot of hope and it's just
That's
very
so
comforting and
cool.
it's really
Yeah.
cool. I mean,
Yeah.
because you go to Eugene and I'm like, is everybody in Eugene friends? That's what it feels like. It feels like everybody in Eugene knows each other.
That's how I used to feel when we did an event in Spokane. I was like, everybody knows everybody
Oh, I believe
here.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
it.
it was
It's so
much,
funny.
and they would all gather after the race. They would hang out until we had to make them leave, which doesn't happen here.
No.
And I was like, you all just, and there's their brother, and
Yeah,
there's their
that
sister's
sounds right.
wife, and like it was crazy.
That sounds right. Yeah, I mean, that it's really beautiful. And I think it's so nice for us to be really connected to the fact that actually, despite what we're seeing all the time on social media and the news,
Yeah.
that there are amazing, huge amounts of wonderful people out there doing really great work in their communities, and we can connect with them and support them and learn from them. And I mean, Eugene is like I think a really interesting, this is so random, but they're such a like unsung hero as a city in America because they're doing really amazing stuff there. Like no one ever talks about it.
Right.
People are like, what's Eugene? And like, oh, it's like it is Oregon in a nutshell, for sure. But they're doing amazing stuff there.
I
So
just think the amazing thing is their football team.
I know, right? But like they're doing all kind of stuff with the houseless community and with gardening and with I mean, just
mental health,
sustainable.
they're
Totally.
really big one.
Yeah. And the college is amazing, and they're doing all kind of really good work at the college there. So yeah.
Well, it's good you're getting to these other communities because I mean, I can imagine you get overexposed. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, if it can't, you want those moments when Shannon's doing the
Yeah.
nonprofit
Yeah.
fundraiser to be special.
Totally.
Yeah.
I would just really crush me if you were like, oh, it's Shannon.
It's Shannon again.
Here we go.
Oh,
The
wait a
same
minute.
jokes.
I just saw Shannon.
I remember Jason Graham saying that years ago, like he didn't want to, ever get to that point. I'm like, God, that's a really good thing to consider. And I will also say, like, not everyone in Central Oregon understands the value of professional talent. And I think that's true in every community. So that's not just like a us thing, but I think that's true in every community. So there is a limit here to like, what the
Sure.
opportunities are. And so in that sense, and then even just for my own creativity and evolution as a performer and someone who works professionally, I think it's really healthy for me to get out. But it's like, it's just the right amount, because if I travel too much, then everything falls apart. Now I'm a wreck and
Right.
good luck,
Yeah. Right. And the dogs, they're not getting
They haven't gotten groomed. They're just that no zoomies are happening.
Right.
Everyone's depressed. Yeah. Can't have
Dogs
that.
are sad.
We can't have that.
Yeah, no. Well, we're at the end of our time.
Man, I wish it was
Yeah.
longer. I always
I
love
know.
talking with you. You ask great questions. It's such a joy. Yeah. Thank you.
What if people want to get in touch with you, if they want more Shannon?
Yeah,
How do they reach out?
So probably the easiest way is my website. It's shanankelley.com, SHANNKELLEY, and I have a contact me form there, and you can send me an email and we can connect. And I have lots of different ways that I work with people. So yeah.
I'm such a big fan. It's nice to have you.
Ditto
Yeah.
that. Really appreciate it. This is great. It's such a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, this has been the Bend Don't Break podcast. If you like what you heard, go to the bendsource.com, become a member, donate, support, and we will continue to have lovely guests like Shannon on and continue to do these podcasts. Thank you for listening. Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks.
You've been listening to the Bend Don't Break podcast, powered by The Source Weekly. To read, hear, and see more of what we do, go to bendsource.com.